Hello, my friends. Welcome, welcome. So glad that you're here. We're going to be starting off with a little bit of a promotional piece on what Rave ABCs, the program, is, and then I'm going to take you on an exciting journey, learning about the language of human design and helping you with some of the definitions, some terms, so that we can get familiar with how all of this works. It's really helpful that we have a commonality of understanding the language. So, welcome, my friends, to Rave ABCs. This is about the human design system. It's an International Human Design School Foundation course, and all types are welcome in this course. So manifestors, generators and manifesting generators, as well as projectors and reflectors are welcome to join us. With Rave ABCs, we have 3 actual foundations of human design that reveal the mechanics of how it all works. So we have this dualistic energetic structure that's built into life, our red and our black. And that's one of the things that we're going to dive into when it comes to you and your charts, how all of that works, as well as talk about the movement of energy through the structure of the body graph. So we'll talk about circuits, the basic circuitry, as well as an introduction to the channels from the perspective of where they lay within that circuit group, whatever it is that we happen to be looking at. And then the C of the ABCs are the structure of the hexagram qualities here, the line values itself, from the basic understanding of the structure and how that works, so that we can grasp the movement of circuits and channels. We also need to understand where they're coming from, the centers. So you should have a basis of understanding of centers from your Living Your Design Awakening experience. And we're going to reinforce type, strategy, and authority in this class. Although we won't have a specific class on it, we will talk about the channel nature from a type perspective when we get there. And in this IHGS Foundation course, we're going to have 8 hours of classes approximately. There's going to be lectures and homework and interaction in our live classes. We do encourage that you have a study buddy to go through this experience. So if you are learning especially how to do this from the professional perspective, we do encourage that you work together with each other. Some of the best friends that you can make in the human design deconditioning experience are about being able to speak the language with a friend and decondition. And that's one of the nice things about these live classes, so that you can engage and interact. I see a chat here. Hi, welcome. So glad that you're here. Those of you who are just joining, real briefly covering what we have in store for you if you continue on in the journey with us. And there is, in this particular class, we're going to include a private mentoring opportunity if it's right for you to take advantage of that. It's included in this intensive course, and that's going to be with Natalie Mufunshi. She's available as a private mentor. So especially if you're not able to make the live classes and you need some support with regards to getting your homework done, Natalie's available for you to deliver your homework to, because it is a requirement in order to move on into Rave cartography, so that you get some feedback on your homework. So 2 opportunities to practice. You'll have a study buddy. It's encouraged, not required. And also in class with me, as well as with Natalie, you can have some private mentoring as well. Now, when it comes to taking this class, you will have needed to take Living Your Design as Awakening experience. And Natalie is one of the IHGS certified analysts that actually does foundation readings. You can see anyone at the IHGS that's a certified analyst. Many of us are independent. We work for ourselves. We have our own practice. And as long as your analyst is listed as currently certified by the IHGS, that will help you pass the required foundation analysis activity in order for you to take this course, so that you're very well versed in your own design. Because here with ABCs, we're looking into how do we start working with this information with others as well. So it's an empowering extension of Living Your Design. So we'll introduce the ABCs, just as I mentioned, as well as review the synthesis of the component structure of what human design is all about. And we'll talk about the crystals of consciousness. and learn the basics of the ABCs. A for red and black, B, introduction to circuitry and channels, and C, the basic hexagram line values as well as the hexagram structure. So our goals for this class is to help you understand your chart at a deeper level, as well as see and understand the synthesis of human design, begin integrating the elements into very basic keynoting. You're going to begin to practice the art of keynoting charts, the poetry of keynoting. That sounds like fun for you. You're in the right place. Now, what's not covered are some higher level course materials. I'll tell you what that is. We are not going to go into deep profile analysis or detailed channel descriptions or the biology of the centers, because that's the next step in Rave cartography. And then in analyst training, if that's what you'd like to go into, we're not going to cover the complete Rave I Ching gate nor line full value descriptions, because that's another year of training. Planetary descriptions and analysis comes in level 2 of the Human Design Analyst certification, and incarnation cross analysis comes in level 3. So if you want any information on that, that's what your foundation analysis is going to give you a good start on, and then you can get if we go back here, actually, you can get a connection chart analysis or a cycles analysis from an analyst, as well as an incarnation cross analysis from any certified IHTS analyst. Now, there are some requirements in order to continue on in this journey beyond today. We're going to start in 2 weeks, and we do have some required reading for you in order that you get supported in the topics and the discussion and get the most out of our live classes together. So this is the Rave ABCs student manual. When you sign up, we'll send you the link to go and get that. And actually, this handout also has the link that you can click on. If you're a part of the course, you will get the full handout. And in order of reading the topics, we have an introduction, human design synthesis. You'll read on page 9 about the design, personality, and monopole, and further about the crystals of consciousness, which is what those are here. Then we'll go into, on page 14, roads and tunnels, the circuit groups on 17, and circuits on page 22, and hexagram structure on page 33. This is about a $30 book. And today I'm going to take you through some of the definitions of these terms so that you're well prepared for speaking the language with us. Again, I'm Laveena, 3-5 projector, emotional, and a wide split definition. And this is Natalie's chart. She's a 5-1 manifester with splenic authority and a single definition. If you're interested in knowing this, Natalie was actually one of my very first cycles clients, and she's been studying for a long time now. Being able to do this work with people who have been in the experiment for a long time is really a gift and such a joy, and it's my pleasure to have her join us in order to support the transformation, to help get the word out and impact those people with whom she's designed to come into contact with in order that they find their spirit as well using the human design system. Yeah, a long time ago, huh? It has been a while. I think, can't recall exactly what year, 2000 and maybe 16, something like that, 15, I don't remember. Yeah, so it's been a while. Now, I want to tell you, one of the benefits of human design is you get to meet people like Natalie. We are actually born in the same year, and she's just born like maybe, 10 days later than me. So we have a lot of similar activations in our charts, and it's so much fun to be able to awaken to this new way of being, this new life experience. And that's what I love about our community. When it comes to taking these classes together live, you really meet some amazing people that are just part of your, we call it fractal family, the journey of us coming into contact with those like us who are also on a similar path, not the same, but, traveling along through space and time together to learn, grow, and share, and discover what it's like to be empowered as ourselves. So that's the benefit of human design. Exactly. She's saying, watch over time. It's been crazy. It is crazy how radically you can change in this experiment. And so the benefit of human design is about the alchemy of being yourself. It really, truly is. So gaining an understanding of yourself in relational context to the world is such a gift, so that you can let go of anything that's holding you back. Because human design, when you experiment with it, it reveals your role, your unique role within the totality of life existence. And it shows you how to allow your life purpose to flow through you, because you don't have to go and find it. You're already a living, breathing example of what it's like to be yourself. It's just that your mind in the beginning is distracted by or distorted by all those things that are actually not unique or true to you. And when you come into alignment with making decisions that you can trust, you can start to let that stuff go. And whenever you let go of those things that are unhealthy for you, you can find a better way forward. You can feel better about your life experience, better about your decision making. It's actually all about correct action. That's Buddha's term. Being in the flow of life, or right action, is another thing that the ancient Rave I Ching, or ancient I Ching, we have the Rave I Ching, the ancient I Ching would talk about right action, or the superior man, the superior man. It's very ancient way of saying things, but from the perspective, our modern day perspective of being in the flow of your own life and your own purpose and your own calling, finding your own meaning, it's all about making decisions as yourself. So when you let your strategy and honor your authority be your compass, your navigational tool, you surrender to your body, because your body is the life. Now we are pointed in the right direction, not as in good, but as aligned, and in the right environment, the aligned environment, with the right people, meaning the aligned people, not good, aligned. And that, my friends, is what makes the difference. Rather than going out and trying to look for it, your life purpose naturally emerges. You don't find it. It actually finds you. You live it. It becomes you, your nature, your purpose, and your gifts just unfolding naturally, rather than having to desperately try to seek or find anything. You already have everything inside of yourself that you need. You don't need to go outside of you, but sometimes you need guides or, somebody to advise or impact you with regards to how this all works, and to help you guide you back home to yourself. Then we have action from harmony, right action as an aligned action from harmony. That's the biggest benefit from human design, is right action. And then from that, what happens is your relationships improve, your life experience improves. Sometimes your finances will improve. You're not necessarily looking for that, but it's just a natural byproduct. Or I would say your sex life improves. I can attest to that as well myself. So the benefits of human design is it explains and enhances how our bodies work and how we're designed as human beings, so that your cognition, something deep inside of you that makes you utterly unique, can start to work properly. As well as when you operate correctly, what happens is you change the frequency of your being and your life to what it's supposed to be. So in context to accepting oneself unconditionally and loving yourself, it's a natural byproduct of living life in alignment that comes at some point in time. May not come in 7 years, but in 7 years you get a body that's more relaxed. And what that does is it reveals your personal place, identity, role, direction, your ability to love yourself or accept yourself. Just be aware of yourself, like really, truly what you are. The mechanics can show you the way when you experiment with being your own authority, because it offers an accurate mapping of the conditioned mind. What that does is show you the shadows that your conditioned, distorted mental thought process throws on your reality, the contextual reality of what you're living in this life. So when you let go of the conditioned mind, when you can see through the lies, it makes such a difference because it gives you a reason of why it's so important to experiment with being your own authority, as in making decisions you can trust from your body, because your body is the life. And so human design offers you a means to transform that conditioned mind to one that nurtures you instead of you feeling pain because you believe the lie of the mind. Instead of it causing you pain, Rob would say that only the not self suffers. The mind, its distorted reality. So I encourage you, if you feel drawn to this, to sign up. You have 2 weeks before we begin, so you have some time to get your book and some time to sleep on it if it's right for you. Now what we're going to do is dive into that synthesis, what we'll do next time, but we're going to dive into some terminology because I lured you in with working with terminology when it comes to understanding the lingo of human design. So we're going to look at this is my body graph workshop, a teacher tool that I have, and I'm just going to remind you of what it means for certain terms that you should know from living your design. So here in color now are all of the centers. These centers are vortices of energy. They literally create your energy body. And the energy in your design, your natal design, shows how the body is being built around your personal imprint, your genetic imprint. So we have these activations within that link up and create definition of these centers. And here are the motor centers. Okay, motor centers. We have, from the perspective of what they are, the heart is about your willpower. The sacral is about your energy resource or the life force within that is generative. The solar plexus is about your emotional intelligence, and the root is about your drive and stamina, your adrenalized nature. Now we have some awareness functions. This should be a review for you who took Living Your Design. The Ajna is our mental awareness that operates over all time. The splenic center is our physical body's innate intelligence that operates here and now. And the solar plexus, as a developing awareness center, operates through a wave, an emotional wave. So you have 3 awareness centers, and each of them having a different frequency, a different tendency for the awareness of the flow of time. We either have the here and now, or we have operating over all time, or we have filtering things through an emotional wave, which is why it takes time to make correct decisions for the people who are defined in the solar plexus. Now, those were our motors and awareness. Let's take a look at the G center, the center of identity, love, and direction. And that is going to be something that shows us our role. Is it here to be consistent in this life? Or are we learning about life if it's undefined? Then we also have the head center I missed because it's a pressure center. So if I go head and root, oh, that's a highlight. Fun. Okay, root, those are our pressure centers in the body graph. Head is about inspiration. Okay, the root is about physical pressure and the head is about mental pressure. Mental pressure. Then we also have the throat center. This is about our communication, communion, metamorphosis, manifestation, and those should all be very familiar to you. That's what we covered in Living Your Design, as well as type, strategy, and authority. Now, for some language, we're going to talk about circuitry, and I'll give you some images as we go through this. So circuitry in the body graph, when you look down at the body graph, there are certain patterns of channels that come together that create a frequency in totality that is talking about something unique here with individuality. It's about empowerment. So the individual circuit group is about empowerment. It is comprised of the knowing circuit, and the centering circuit. Okay, now there is also a special area of the body graph. Don't worry, we're going to review this again. Just introducing you to terms to get you familiar with some of the language. Integration here is about self-empowerment. These strengths or channels that you're looking at, these are areas of the body graph that are all about me, myself, and I, and it's about self-empowerment. It's about survival. So it's actually, you can see it right here, it says integration channel. When they're all connected up, you're looking at one strength, a channel, integration. I'll discuss that more as we go into that area of work when we reach there, that class. Now the collective circuit group, you see on your slides here, it's actually an aspect of nothing new under the sun, whereas the individuality was about new and now. The collective is just divided into a subset that is either understanding and logic. Actually, turn this off. Understanding and logic is about the future. Let me make that in black. There we go. The future. And that is all about sharing the patterns, sharing the focus, sharing the details. Sensing, on the other hand, is about the past. And that's about sharing the experience rather than the logic and the detail. Understanding is different. It's about the future versus sensing. It's about the experience and the past, what we've actually lived. So we have two very different aspects that are mirrors to each other within the entirety of the collective circuit group. It's about sharing for sharing's sake. Okay, so you think, when you see collective, think sharing. So you might have already noticed the pattern that there are certain groups of channels that link together that create an image that I'm showing you. Here's the last one. That is the basic fundamental aspect of what is critical to understand about human creatures. We are tribal. And here's the tribal circuit group. I'm actually going to make something special happen here with this channel of money, design of a materialist. And you see I have it linked up in black and red to illustrate. The reason for that is it's a very special aspect of what Ra would call Wa mechanics. It's a large group strength. It's at the head of the tribe, as you can see. So it's the one that's going to be the voice of the tribe or control mechanism of the tribe. So it's, you know, the leader, you could say. If we look at it archetypally, it could be like a CEO or a king or queen, a ruler, pasha, emperor, empress. Tribal is about blood being thicker than water, and we're all about supporting our own. The reason why I went into that detail, it's a support structure. And this support structure of tribal nature can actually be separated into two different subcircuits. We have the defense circuit and we have the ego circuit. So those are two very different aspects. Let me take this off. Ego circuit. Okay, two different aspects of tribal nature or circuitry. I love the animations that we got to see there. That should help just give us a real brief introduction to the concepts of circuitry. And why we're going to go into this is because all of those channels have a similarity in nature. They're either going to be about empowerment, individuality, collective is about sharing, and tribal is about support. And we can see how very different and utterly unique each of us are when we take ourselves into context in relationship to others or to life. So that's a key area. One of my favorite things about Rave ABCs is teaching this aspect of the knowledge, because what it does is once you get a grasp of what these look like and where they are within the context of what they're about, it's so much easier to start reading a chart, because you know then, oh, you're about sharing. Sharing logic, black. Sharing experiences, red. Or you're all about knowing or empowerment or self-empowerment, depending on which aspect. So knowing or integration, which is about self-empowerment, the one I'm flashing on the screen right there, or about centering, Now it's being flashed on the screen, centering. So it really depends. It shows us our utter uniqueness within the context of where we're looking at within the body graph. So when you group the channels like this, they become much easier to understand and remember because there are keynotes that go with each of these circuitries that we're going to be talking about when you go into this class, and it will help you so much to begin to learn to read charts. You want the workshop tool, I know, right? It's something that's really fun, especially if you're visual like me and you love being able to use this material. So this is your student manual. It's at humandesignamerica.com under books and course manuals. And you will want to read this as part of your homework assignment. Now, if you've already got the definitive book of human design, I will take that if money is an issue. This Science of Differentiation. If you've already got that one's fine too. Just want to let you know that those are your reading materials for this class because it is an international human design school. And here's Natalie, a certified class, you could say, under the education and foundation courses. It's just that we are independent teachers and we teach outside of the institution of IHDS as well. Okay, so the next place I'm going to take you is a surprise. It's a secret. It's an excitement. Does anybody else have the beta of the new My Body Graph? I just got it this morning. It's about 7, 8, 9 more days, and then it's going to be available. So we're going to go into the knowledge base. I'll show you where we're at. This is what it looks like, the new mybodygraph.com. And if I click on the little owl, you're going to see that I'm going to start reading to you some basic understanding from the human design system in order to help get you started from the perspective of the dictionary. Okay, so I'm going to start with definition. Definition, when it comes to the language of human design, we use the term definition when two centers are permanently connected to each other. So when the gates, these are like portals, think of them like outstretched hands reaching to the other in order to make a relationship. So here at either end of this channel, we have planetary life aspects being activated. Here you can see it's my Sun, Mercury, and Mars that are reaching out to each other, locked into a permanent fixed definition. That is the definition of definition. It's a permanent relationship between two centers. And so definition in your chart is what throughout your life will be reliable and consistent. Now there are 4 basic kinds of definition. This is a reminder from LYD. You had single definition, one continuous flow or connection. And so as an example, I'll go over to Natalie's chart. You can see in her design, if I were to put my finger on this map and like I'm sailing a boat, all of these channels are linked up through one continuous flow of energy. There are no breaks. But with my example, you can see, oh, I've got a break, very wide, apparent split break. So that's the difference there. Now, when we go back to my body graph here, that's the single definition, a continuous connection, and then split is like mine, 2 areas of definition that are separate from each other. A triple split would be 3 separated areas, and a quadruple would be 4 separate areas. Then finally, there are those without definition. Definition, you see the channels, they are the life force in the design. Most importantly, definition or lack thereof leads to the core of the human design knowledge and its value to you. Type. The definition in the design or lack thereof shows us our genetic type, and that's the definition of definition. Now, to be very clear, the only thing that is defined here would be the channels. They are the life force. So channels are definition. You can see here that I've got a 58. I'm going to close this for a moment so you can see it a little bit more brighter colors. This 58 is not defined because a technical term is a relationship between two centers. Where the 58 is pointing at is the 18. So then the 18, if it comes in through a person or temporary from a transiting planet, then we have the illusion of definition. But you can see in the design that that is not defined. Yeah, this center being turned on by, let's say if Natalie and I were in aura together, then her influence on me is I would get an activation of my own genetic learning and wisdom potentials, because these planetary life aspects are not always on, but they are when I'm in relationship with someone else. So then what happens is that these dormant gates, technical term, dormant gates, you can also call them hanging, will get turned on because the center itself, this is the splenic center, the awareness, spontaneous awareness will get turned on. However, because I was not born with definition here like Natalie is born with a defined splenic center, or was born, she has the ability to reliably trust her spontaneous, instinctive knowing and pattern recognition. Whereas mine, even if I'm in Natalie's presence, I cannot trust that for my human decision-making process. I'm emotional, and that trumps any awareness that I can get in the moment. So relative to the terms that you want to use, this is defined, and these are hanging. They're either hanging active, like the 58, or they're hanging dormant gates. Okay, that's the lingo that we're using, dormant gates. Okay, from the perspective of something that you're learning about in relationship with life. If you look at your body graph, you can see this as the student of life, whatever is defined in you, wherever you have colored in life aspects that are creating life force, that is you, the student of life. This doesn't change. Although there may be maturing processes, as an example, two sides actually. I'll look at this design and see, okay, we've got a Mars here, and that Mars is going to bring us immature energy dynamics. Not something we're going to go into much detail about planets, but just to illustrate the point. Mars may or may not mature. Moon here is an unconscious driving force, and I've got it in a 6 quality line value. So that means then all 6s are going to have a longer, slower maturing process wherever it is that you have a 6 line quality. In fact, let me make this a little bit simpler, because I just realized I have the advanced imaging on, and that can be a little overwhelming for a newcomer. Any dot after the gate shows afterwards, it's going to show what line quality you have. There are 6. And so any place you have a 6, that is a place in your design that you are going through a lifetime learning process that takes 50 years to mature, wherever you have a 6. We'll talk more about that when we get to hexagram structure and line values. Okay, so back to terminology. Let's go back to our little owl. Oh, I love it that I get to use the owl right now. Did you guys know that the current transit is here in the 50? If I go to show mandala. Okay, the sun is in the mandala wheel 50, gate 50 right now. And where that is Minerva, which is about learning. And that's the Roman word, isn't it? And I think the Greek is Athena. So the gate 50, Athena, one of her symbols was the owl. And I just loved that they chose the little owl for us to find our knowledge base here in the new My Body Graph. And let's go back to our dictionary. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, channels. Let's see what it has to say about a channel. Channel is created by the joining of 2 activated gates, resulting in definition. There are 36 channels, each of which carries a specific quality or energy between the centers. So that's what a channel is. Or I would call it the life force in the design. Now, type, we have lots of different language for type. To energy type, that's a division of the 4 types. Energy type refers to either a manifester or a generator. That represents approximately nearly 75% of humanity. From the perspective of manifestors, they have the ability to manifest, to inform in order to impact. Generators have the ability to respond and then generate energy. So those are our energy types. I'm one of the non-energy types. Not that there's anything lacking, missing, or broken, just that I don't have consistent access to manifest nor generate. So one of the success potentials that I have is to guide the energy. And as a non-energy type, we're referring to projectors, approximately 23% of the population, and reflectors, who neither can manifest nor generate. I would add there consistently. Anybody can manifest or generate. We can be conditioned to manifest or generate, but we require the energy types in order to guide them, projectors, or in order to reflect and evaluate. To be the judge, cosmic judges of humanity is what reflectors can do. So non-energy types, projectors and reflectors, about 25% of humanity. And then I wanted to give you authority. Now there are two very critical terms to understand in speaking the language of design, and that is either inner authority or outer authority. See here, authority, there are two kinds. Inner authority is what you can trust to make decisions, and it is never your internal mental thought process, period. This is a physical experience of your true nature speaking to you through your body's context, your innate body intelligence, whatever it happens to be. So you learned about your inner authority, if you have one, in Living Your Design. And now we're talking about outer authority. Outer authority is the true and proper realm of mind. When your mind is liberated from making decisions, your outer authority becomes a source of knowledge for others. Outer authority is simply unique, differentiated perspective that is given to an other without an agenda, in other words. So, to further illustrate the context as an example, my own inner mental process is utterly chaotic and idiotic for myself, period. If I try to make mental decisions based on what I think I know about myself, I'm lost. But the moment I can get my mind out of my own trap of trying to figure myself out, and I use my mental awareness in order to guide someone else from an empowered place of recognition with emotional clarity, what happens is my mind is brilliant for others, brilliant for you if you're right for me. And in relationship to others, we can all be an outer authority. Anybody can be an outer authority. Let's say, as an example, you are somebody who has gone through some really traumatic, chaotic experiences, and now you're paralyzed and in a wheelchair. You've had that experience, as Natalie has, and you can give your awareness of what it took to get you through that terrible, traumatic experience in order that you can inform, in order to impact, to help people find their spirit within, because this is one of her impactful wisdom and learning potentials when it comes to Natalie's experience of herself in this life. So all of us have human experiences that we can come from a place of relational intelligence in order to give our gifts of awareness to an other. All we have to do is interact. And when we interact, we come from an authentic place, rather than trying to, as Laveena's mind tended to do, manipulate, distort, lie, exaggerate, think that you're trying to get something from someone else in order to assure your own survival. When you can let go of that little mind game that your mind tries to play in order to get what you think you want, now we can give, in relational context, the true communion of outer authority. Outer authority is given when you have let go of the mind running the show. Your mind is not your friend. your authority is, whatever it happens to be for you. So in this course, we're going to reinforce what your authority is in relationship to your charts, because that goes without saying. No matter what I tell you, no matter what anybody tells you about your human design, always run it through your own authority. So inner authority reveals one of the most important things in this life: what you can trust to make decisions as the unique individual that you are. Inner authority is the key to living correctly. It's never the mind. Never the mind. Remember that. Outer authority gives you the true, proper realm of mind when you're liberated from making decisions. It's awareness. Outer authority is about awareness. And everything in this game of life is about seeing, and being aware. What's you? What's not you? In relational context to mind's true purpose, it's about sharing. It's about empowering. It's about potentially, if that is part of your process, supporting. But mind itself, with its conceptualizing nature, it's not about making decisions. None of this is about making decisions. So then that leads us to the mental projectors. If you are in here, you know you have to discuss with others in order to hear your truth come out of your mouth with any kind of certainty, and that's your process. And our lunar beings, the reflectors, are here to wait out the cycle of the moon. So any reflectors, it's really imperative that you study your mechanics of your lunar cycle, and that's the next step. Rave ABCs helps you get there, as well as understanding transits. And understanding cartography will help you understand transits as well. So if you're interested in this kind of information, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to give you. I'm happy to hold space for questions as well. Definition, channels, types. Yep, that's everything I wanted to. Oh, hexagram, one last piece. Hey, hexagrams. I love this Rave I Ching. If you've ever studied the I Ching, it's an amazing, amazing system. Now we use the Rave I Ching. It's the newer version, you could say, the nine-centered version. Nine-centered as in we as humanity have had a mutation, and now we are nine-centered rather than the ancient seven-centered or even five-centered constructs before we had this mutation about 400 years ago. So a hexagram, hex meaning six, from the Chinese tradition, the hexagram is a structure of lines built on six variations of either yin or yang possibilities. Hexagrams are a key ingredient for establishing human differentiation. So the hexagrams, all of us having our hexagram aspects, the line qualities, the planetary life imprinting, are going to show us our human specificities. The activation in a hexagram becomes the activation of a gate in the body graph. So the hexagrams translated into a gate, think like portal, opening up the floodgates of energy here, because these are energy functions, or potential awareness that operates through a wave pattern. More specifically, each one of us have very different awarenesses. So the activation of the hexagram, the specific imprinting, is never general. It's never general. When you look at all of these activations that are there, they are very specific. However, I don't want you to get lost in the specificities or the details, because what you're looking at when we look at a mandala wheel, I'm going to take off the mandala actually. I'm going to look at just the incarnation cross. Okay, so when you look at your database, this is the database column on either side of your body graph. Here I have it in the mandala wheel with the incarnation cross. You're looking now at 70% of the life purpose, experiential process, your life's work, your incarnation cross. The cross we all have to bear is our own. And from the personality perspective side, this is something that's like the tip of the iceberg. It's your mental awareness. Okay, think of an iceberg. Let me get a pen here. An iceberg is down below the surface of the water. So actually, I wish my cross were a little bit different, but let me just nonetheless go like this and go, here's the tip of the iceberg, and here's the iceberg, and here's the water. Let's make the water like this. Okay, so funny, looks like an A for anarchist, which this third quality happens to be, from the perspective of what I bring to you, my unique differentiated awareness. What we're looking at on the personality construct, think of it like the tip of the iceberg, is just your mental awareness, but the body is the life over here, whatever the body construct is. The body is the life. So the design, what's below the surface of your awareness, of your seeing, down here is so much more. There's so much more to you than what you consciously identify with as you. So this morning I was teaching a group of analysts in training, and I was telling them about the nature of melancholy. Melancholy, these are two melancholic gates in the body graph. And what's happening in today's day and age is that we're all going through an incredible, profound mutation. Here is the just now chart. So that's another term I want you to know, just now chart, from the perspective of what's happening right here and now. So see if I can get that right here. There we go. I've removed the unconscious imprinting, which happened 88 days ago, approximately. And we're looking at just the position of the planetary life aspects right here and now. And what you'll notice is that there's an incredible mutation of human beings right here and now, where I would say mutation takes heat. Our whole solar system is heating up. The planet is heating up. We as a human species are mutating. Pluto, truth, transformation, and psychology in the design. Pluto is currently mutating all of us. And in this current week transit, we can see we have the other side of that channel. Remember, two planets. And here we're talking about in transit. Two planets on either side of the channel create a life force. Now, this is a conditioning life force, as in it's a global conditioning pattern that everybody on this planet is experiencing. In relational context to where the sun's light is being grounded into the earth, that earth and Pluto are in a relationship. You see that? Because they're communicating with each other. And all of us are experiencing that energy inside of our body. This is the channel of mutation. It's a design of energy which initiates and fluctuates and operates in a pulse. So what we can see then is there's this intrinsic ability to filter this stream of energy through neutrinos. If you remember from your Living Your Design course, I'll talk more about this next time we meet. But the imprinting inside of our, temporary to be fair, but the imprinting inside of our body, we're all going to filter that energy differently. So what you might notice this week, because it's a few more days, we got 3 more days of this, you might notice at some point feeling stuck, limited, like there's a deep internal sadness, a pressure. We can't get anywhere. I can't go anywhere. I'm frustrated. I feel limited, and I'm stuck. And at some point, there might be a powerful pulse of energy that propels us forward. Because remember, this is about mutation, and none of us has a neutrino shield. We cannot escape the transiting energy frequencies, but we all filter it differently. So this week you might notice a little bit less energy because mutation takes energy. You might need some need for rest. There's potential depression in this. I like to reframe it as a need for deep rest. Channel any energy that you have into some kind of creative endeavor. If you don't have energy to move, maybe you're just listening to music and you're imagining patterns of music. I know for me that's one of my processes, especially back in the day when I would listen to music. I used to love to turn it into images in my mind. So whatever it is that you need to take care of yourself this week, be kind, be gentle, because we don't have to submit to the realm of the fast-paced manifesting generator life, the new era that we're moving into, is so much about busyness. And not all things are achieved with busyness. Sometimes we need rest. And that's part of what this transit is bringing to us this week. So that's where I'm going to put a pause in my inspired lecture piece with regards to what I wanted to help you understand related to terms. If you have another term that you'd like me to look up in our dictionary and read to you, please feel free to either message me, ask the question. There's a Q&A box, type into the chat. I'm here for you for another few minutes to answer any questions that you have relative to Rave ABCs and in context with joining us for our next live journey. I'm letting you know right now that I'm allowing past students to come in and just observe. But those of you who have signed up officially, so if you've already taken this class, you're welcome to take it again as an auditor, and we will work with your charts. You'll still have the opportunity to be able to be mentored in this work with me and Natalie as we move forward in learning about the human design system from the Rave ABCs standpoint. All types are welcome, so that we can honor the respective nature of our form, what's in red, or physiology, and our mind, what's in black. Remember, the tip of the iceberg when it comes to your awareness of the totality of existence. Don't think of this as a half and a half, or even a third and a third, because the form dominates. The body is the life. The body is your life experience, and the witness consciousness, the stuff in black, is what is subject to being aware about what it's like to be in this body and living this life experience, this form. You don't have to figure it out. All we need to do is put the two together and give you your type, strategy, and authority to experiment with it. And if you like this work, if you're fascinated by the system, we're going to guide you through movement, through the structure of the energetic circuitry fields, as well as channels that link us up to the fundamental truths of our nature, whatever is unique and different about us. So we begin to give you the language of the structure of this human design body graph, in addition to the hexagrams itself. So going into the details of line qualities, if that is something that you are interested in, that you understand the movement of the energetic dynamic and flow. There will be 8 hours of classes, lectures, homework, and interaction. I will include also some recorded previous study groups. Study buddies are encouraged, and private mentoring is included with Natalie, if you'd like to join us for this endeavor. Again, remember, there is a foundational reading requirement in order that you take this class. You know, a couple of you are interested in signing up. So if you've already taken this class, remember, you can always audit, and that is 50% off. You're welcome to join us. humandesignlifecoaching.com is where you're going to sign up. And so I'll just pop that over into the chat. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care, my friends.